So yeah, the 2012 drawings, these were pretty messy. I think around that time I was drawing with a mouse. I didn't have a tablet, and I didn't even know tablets existed. I drew everything non-traditional with a mouse, and I thought this is how people did it when I was young. This one was an attempt, let's say, at a character design, which I wouldn't say went well, but for that time I really thought I did well. Like, I was proud of this. It was when I first started, so yeah. This one was also using the mouse, and I don't know, I think I used to like short hair, except for this one. I drew short hair often, and I drew this sort of bangs often. And this one was drawn traditionally, but I was trying to color it with my finger on the phone. And these were some headshots attempts. And what the hell? Charactering a cat named Anime, so that was my peak anime phase. And I drew couples and hoodies. I think I drew a lot of purple as well. And this was from Black Rock Shooter, and that was also one of my very early stuff. This one, I redrew this one. This one was also like an attempt, and I think I was inspired by Vocaloid's Magnet. You know, the butterfly headphones. So I was trying to do that here. This was using the mouse, but to be honest, I was really happy with this. Like, this was quite good compared to this one or this one. Maybe because I didn't draw the other eye. That's why it's good. So continuing on with this was a floating head. Yes, a floating head. This one used to draw a lot of blondes as well. Oh, Hatsune Miku. This one, I think this is my first, like, if you put Black Rock Shooter aside because it's an alternative to Miku, I think this is my first official Hatsune Miku, which I didn't copy. Then these are some weird attempts. Blonde hair again. This was on some notebook. I think this was the philosophy or English one, because I did have the sweet time to color during the lecture. So that's it for 2012. Two 2013. Here I started to shade in pencils and like shade in general here. And I used to be obsessed with Kimi ni Todoke. So I drew a lot of shoujo back then, like Tsubasa Chronicles as well, and it's still one of my favorite mangas of all time. And also 5 from Tsubasa Chronicles with the effects from that era. This was the first steampunk themed challenge, I think. This was like, here I bought a phone. I bought a touchscreen phone, an iPhone, and it was, and I think this is like the first official time I used art studio on my phone, and I drew this with my fingers on Drawcast. This is an old app, like probably most of you will not remember it. This as well, and this as well. I was obsessed with Pokemon. And Alice in Wonderland themed stuff. And this one with flipped hands, what the hell? And tears, a lot of tears. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into the making of these. And this was an anime guy, Gray from Fairy Tail, and it should be now I drew it should be again. And Erza and Jalal, and I don't know why Jalal is floating in mid-air and Erza's body is floating. I had weird choices at that time. And Fubuki, oh no, Shirayuki, I messed up. Shirayuki from Rosario Vampire. And this was copied, we'll see, already. And Moriziano from Magi. Also Moriziano from Magi. And this was for Pagey World. I don't know if anyone remembers, but Pagey World used to have this contest that you should draw the characters made by the owner of the application. And this was for a summer vacation kind of contest. And this one was using my finger, and this is like Soul Eater spread. I remember this is somebody's OC. If you happen to watch this and see your OC, please comment. I would like to know how are you doing these days. And this was copied. I used to love this vintage effect, still do. And this was some random character, and this was Lucy and Zero from Vampire Knight. I think this was a request to draw them together. Rizika from Brave Master, written by the same mangaka as Fairy Tail. I do remember this was drawn on the agenda they used to give us to write down which homeworks do we have. This was as well. And this was a request. And this was for Art Amino, I think. They were doing something in like an Art Amino production back then, and I drew fan art of it. And this is also a random blonde again. This is the main character of Amnesia, the anime and the otoge. This was me trying to change my style. This has a little bit of story. There was this thing on Art Amino that was going on, like a challenge. I drew something and people would have to guess. But I was trying to go outside my style, but it's still pretty obvious it's me because of bad proportions and anatomy. And then around here I started using thinner lines. I don't know what's that. I started shading more, and this was my sorry attempt to make a manga cover. And this was the era of Photoshop glowing effects with a mouse again. I still didn't have a tablet at that point. And this is Yuki and Zero from Vampire Knight. This was good, to be honest, compared to this one, let's say. So this was okay. And I used to do a lot of manga panel-like stuff. This was for an orange contest. It was like before Draw This in Your Style was a thing, but there was somebody hosting Draw My Image in Your Style back then, but it didn't have the Draw This in Your Style name or label. And this is again affiliate, the random character. This was a request of gender bending everybody. Yep, another request. Just to get a lot of Adventure Time requests. And this is from Guilty Crown. Back then it was still running. And this was a random thing I drew in French class. I do remember drawing this in French class, which I colored it on the phone. And a random thing again. Or my attempt at being abstract again. And again, blonde hair and manga panel. And this is me from Blue Exorcist. And this was, I feel like a cell kind of portrait, an anime, but in bad proportions. And this was the Dark Age. And yes, I was still on the phone at that point, and I did this with textures and Photoshop for the background, like those rock brush, the old 2013 brushes. I don't know if they still exist though. And this was a Nico maid character, Ciel from Black Butler, Asuna and Kirito. I don't know why she's watching. More random, manga panels thing, more random. And this is Isama Yasuru from K Project fan art. This anime wasn't really very known. Like, it wasn't the most popular thing in its time, but I used to really love it. More random. This was a request on DeviantArt. More random, more random. This was also a challenge, I think, from Upstream Dragon. More random manga stuff. And here I was trying to get fancy, and I was still watching Hitalia, so I was trying to draw the, like, in paints and acrylics and stuff like that. And Jean, Vocaloids. The Vocaloids craze didn't really leave me. It just came and go. And this is Mansour from Maggie. I redrew him. And this was a request to draw Raven with the text "Beware, we have waffles." I don't know if the person who requested me is still active in the arts community or not. If you're still and you do end up seeing this, please comment below. And this was another random thing. This was my idea of a night stroll at a Japanese festival, but everything is going upwards for some reason, and these people are falling down like this. This is Shiro from Batman Wonderland, or my attempt to draw Shiro from Batman Wonderland. The real thing looks good, trust me. Another kind of drawing. Look, it looks better than some of the other stuff. And here, this was a theme park themed thing. And who holds glasses this way? This is for somebody's birthday, I think. Like, this person really used to send me a lot of tutorials, and we still talk to this day. So, Bryce Sensei, if you see this, please comment. Yeah, more for Bryce. And a random character, a dragon theme thing, a sunset thing. I drew a lot of things. Fantasy, magic, kind of reminding me of a bathroom wallpaper thing. And yeah, the sitting on the moon pose. I would love to draw this one day. More Black Rock Shooter. More random. So Natsu and Lucy. and fairy tale. More random with, for some reason, transparent hair. And this was for another one of Page Words contests. More Black Rock Shooter. Apparently, I used to love Black Rock Shooter. I do remember cosplaying Takana Siomi or Dead Master from that anime. Yep, this is more stuff, more random stuff, a Maggie spread, more random stuff, more, and more. I redrew this, by the way. And I don't remember what I was going to do with this, or this. This was this character from Tegami Batsit, I forgot her name. Another Miku. I used to have the patience to do this on phone. More stuff. Kokudera from Katekyo Hitman Reborn, but his fingers are all wobbly and broken. Lucy from Fairy Tail. These were the twin vampire brothers from Tsubasa Chronicles. Luxus. Random thing, random. This was my best effort by then. I used to be so proud of this, and I posted it everywhere. And see what I did. More Fi. The guy from Katekyo Hitman Reborn. Suna from Katekyo Hitman Reborn. I got obsessed with Katekyo Hitman Reborn in 2013. This is the guy from Arcana Famiglia, but I forgot his name. More random. It's Jack Frost. More this is, I think, from Vocaloid Mayu, I think. Kaito, Jera, it's not Kaito, sorry. Yep, here, I think this was the Materioska Kaito I was trying to do. More random things. To be honest, for this one, a lot of people told me that I should quit anime and stick to this sort of style, and that it looked more proportionate than anything else I did. For some reason, this little bit more realistic style kind of looked better than my anime, even though I never drew the style before this one. And this is something I was trying to do from the back pose, but the wings were too low. Chi from Chobits, Random, Phi, and this is Chrome from Katekyo Hitman Reborn, and the IT guy from Katekyo Hitman Reborn. More Fairy Tail, Random. I should redraw this one. More Random, Juvia. This was kind of copied. More Random. This is from Inu X Boku. And more Niku, this was, I think, copied. Some from Kaichou made some more. This one was using the old brush in Photoshop, the rock brushes. Also random, and I was drawing a whole scene here. Natsu and Yusi, I used to ship them a lot. And some random. Mavis from Fairy Tail. Oh, this was a request. I do remember well, this is a request. Also, everything that was related to Kingdom Hearts was a request. Random request. I think this is my Hime. And my bad attempt at copying Tengen Toppa. So, yep, this was 2013. I think I drew quite a lot in 2013, to be honest. So now, 2014. This one is random. This one from Black Doctor, more Ciel. I redrew Ciel. And I redrew the other drawing with the rocks. But there was a lot of randoms. This is for Valentine. And this one was for Drago art. Like, I was genuinely trying to make a tutorial. I think I do remember people liking this, like saying this is some sort of improvement. Shahrazad from Magir. Jana from Magir. Random. Oh, I used to really love Yunan from Magir, like as a character, and when I read the manga, like he had so much mystery. Like, it's a mysterious character. And random. This was a request. And there was this app that could make your drawing, that would reflect your drawing with ripples. And this is the moon pond. I drew a lot of sitting on the moon. I probably redrew this one over the other one with the same effects. And this one, an elf. More random. This was for Otaku Day 2014. Leah, it's Sophie Chan's character from Oceans of Secrets. Christmas. Random. Oh, I used to practice by drawing stuff, so I end up drawing a lot of Lord of the Rings, as well as Game of Thrones. So this was like my practice stuff. Like, I did get practice human faces first. So I did random. Oh yeah, it was when it first came out. And Toka from Portugal. Sasuke, Kisame. It's don't tell me what I actually copy pasted the codes. The code. Oh my god, that anime made me cry. This one for Shonen Jump Naruto contest, which I didn't know what I was thinking, and I entered. A lot of random Erza, Hinata, a lot of fairy tales of the world. And okay, free here when I started following voice actors and stuff like that. And this one was my first drawing using touch markers. This was my first year at university, and they had a bunch of touch markers, and I bought a lot. Naruto and Sasuke, and this one was on the phone, and this one was on the phone. Like, how did I draw this detail on the phone? How did I have the patience to do this? More stuff. And that was it, I think, for 2014. Yep. I didn't draw much 2014. That was my first year at uni. I didn't have much time, which will continue as a trend. And then at this point, I still do not have a tablet. I was doing everything with my fingers. So this is the dragon doll I drew her. I drew random stuff, some fan art. This one took me a long while on the phone. And then I started to dive in more into K-pop, so I was into SHINee, Jongho, Mizari Aridro, Shirayuki, this guy. So there is a lot of more effect versions, something with the background, something with an effect. I used to love Akagami no Shirayuki Hime, and my dear friend, I hope you're watching this, helped me a little bit with the faces here. Helped me fix them, thank you. And Alicia from Ariane Animation. Makoto, I drew free a lot. This was 2015. Okay, I'm free. This is the redrew version. And I drew Edward from Fullmetal Alchemist with his eyes at the ends of his face for some reason. Then I started drawing Haikyuu, like I wanted to do something dynamic. And I used to love, this was my old handle. Like I used to love Jung Young Ra and like K-drama. Still do watch it sometimes. Miho. I drew the other drawing. And this was, I started using Photoshop. I think around here I got my tablet, if I remember correctly. No, still, this was on the phone. And this was on the phone. I did, even this one. I did not have my tablet at that point. But this is around where I got it, I think. This was for 2015. I don't know, from 2016. Yeah, this is when, around the time I got my tablet. And like around the Alicia drawing onwards. This was my second drawing, and let's look at upload random stuff. Redraw this. So, like this one was not really a redraw. Like this is the style people told me to keep, and this was me trying to go anime, but yeah, didn't work so well. And Irahara, this was on the phone. Katekyo Hitman Reborn. I used to love this drawing. I worked very hard on it. And Cloud Geese. The fact that I used to draw noses, now I don't. And that's the kid from Soul Eater. Random Dragon. This guy. Like this elf guy that used to do this like, nose bridge and everything. I would like to draw him someday. More stuff, more elves, lots of elves. This one, yeah, I remember this one well. And there was this manga called Hanatsuki Hime. So yeah, you can tell it left an impression on me. So I used to really love it. Haru from Free. And this is when I started really diving into Utano Prince Sama. Like I drew Cecil a lot. This was my favorite guy in Capri. Yeah, I was trying to be fancy. More Capri. This was for my then lover friend. The Kaguya and Kamen from Gintama, Rise. So, more Tokyo Ghoul stuff. Tokyo Ghoul. This was the Bone Sky from Naruto. And Kogitsune Maru from Token Nambu. And this was from Kabaneri. Bukya from Blitz. This was from Tenkano. Wait, what was his name? Don't tell me what else. Laughing Under the Clouds. From Death Note, Random Makoto, from Free, Random. This was my attempt during Nami from One Piece. Naruto, Nizo Sakuya from Nornon, and Nozomi. This was on Nozomi's birthday from Love Live. Like a lot of random. I think this was a request. And Oikawa, the end again. Ignore the pickup line. That was a weird thing to write. Otoya from is the real sunflower PNG on the background from the Japanese summer. This was the grown-up version of like I tried to do grown-up Beyblade stuff. So yeah, forget it. That was a bad idea. And this was from Prince of Stride. And I used a lot of figures, like model figures to grasp running positions like them. This was for Quest, which had bad disproportionate shoulders. Uniform Free, Equestrian, everyone knows it. Yeah, what was wrong with me and realistic flower PNGs in the background? This was a redraw of the steampunk thing, and this one for my friend. Wait, what else? No. Oh my god, what the hell? I forget this one. I was trying to do a male anatomy at this point. Yep. I drew Yamcha. People say he's useless, but I drew him. So 2017 now. Yep, we're progressing fast. The more I go up, the less time I have to draw. More Cecil from Utapri. I think here I was working on my line art, trying to make my line art crisp. Stuff more Cecil from Utapri. This one I was so proud of myself with this one. I did so much work with this. I would redo the background, to be honest. And this one. The steampunk one redrawn. This one was for a game I was making back then, which only one person saw. And this was a request for a person who requested me for Persona and Karabika from Hunter. This was Arifranjan. This was Mikazuki from Tokerambu. And I drew Moana. And I tried to draw a manga, like seriously draw something like this. So why did I color the eyes? I do not know. And this was my light novel kind of attempt. More random stuff. Like here I was practicing a lot. These are like requests. This one was a random thing. Natsuki from Tapri. Like this was like a thank you note. To be honest, here I can see some improvement with the lines here. So I was onto something, maybe. This was for the characters in my manga here as well, and that was it for 2017. Now 2018, which even has less drawings. Yep, again. And this was a commission. So to the person who comes to me, I hope you are doing well. So this was a draw of Kagiha from Kokutsu no Psychedelica game. And this is a original version. And this was the Chloris from Love Nikki. It was like one of the side characters, but I drew him in this. And this was Kururu from a game called Otomeyusa, but it stopped operating. More like outfit from Love Nikki. I was inspired by the outfits. And again, Kazuki from Token Bamboo. I should redraw him. Should redraw this pose, but I fix this one right here. Like move this into that here. Okay, I'm fixing this. Haku from Akatsuki no Yona, which also, like, his face is so wide. That was my attempt at Todoroki. You can see some improvement from here to here. Okay, I was trying to make the face thinner. And Yunan from Magi. Like, I was trying to do a pose, but that didn't work well. That was it for 2018. 2019. I think this was like my improvement leap year. Like this one and this year. These were my improvement years. Like this one, like I was grasping coloring more. Like this one was okay. Like this one, I drew like the snacks as people, like Jin from BTS also, drew more stuff, random stuff. Like this one, I was so happy with this one. And I was doing more commissions in one zone. Atena, Street Fighter, just doing more aesthetic stuff like this one. And I redrew this one. And the vampire twins. And this one was for draw this in your style, and yep, okay, for back then. Even this one looks good. So I think here, around here, I was starting to grasp how to color some birthday present for my friend, Carissa. Here, physical. Like this was one of the Love Mickey outfits. Cindy Bad from Maddie, Daria. Here I was doing full backgrounds. And why is this here? This is 2020. This shouldn't be here. So the moon thing, I drew the thing they did for the Vtuber for BTS. I drew fan art. It still doesn't look half bad actually. Like a screenshot redraw. Did a few things. This is for Sussex's character. Yep, and that's it. Then it's a so now 2020. So around the later half of 2019 till 2020, I think I'm starting to look like my drawing looked more neat, except the small mishaps every now and then. This one was for draw this in your style. Like it looked fun. So is this one? Okay, the hand I know. This one was the original character design. I did Ganesh from FGO. Some of the fan art of Kamizo, singer in Versailles. This one was for draw this in your style. So this one was just a usual. So is this one? I started to make more intricate characters here. And then Genshin came out in September of 2020. And yep, I drew Kutsing. And I drew like a random character. This one had a lot of positive things. Like I was really happy with it. And this one, and Ozymandias, MCO. Like here I was practicing stuff. Yeah, I practice poses even if it doesn't seem like it. Kiana from Music. Green from FGO. Oh my god, not Rin. Oh my god. Rin, Fate, and Star. And this was like a random thing. This was like a Pandora Hearts video. Like I did the 6 fan art challenge fully of Pandora Hearts. I really love this anime, and by the time this video is out, I think Vanitas no Carte would be airing, and it's another manga by the awesome, amazing Mochizuki Jun. And more on Myoji stuff. This was a redraw of the festival thingy. This was kind of aesthetically trying to do something. Like this was following the Rococo aesthetic. I was like really liking the Rococo aesthetic here when I drew these. This one was for a draw this in your style. The view from Street Fighter, and I redrew this. And Jack from Pandora Hearts. More Aussie. This is a random thing. This was random. I drew Amuro from Detective Conan. It doesn't look right here. And very salty face. But this one was for Compass. More characters. Some more random stuff. This one was redrawn. I would really draw her again. And Biru from Obey Me, Cecil again and again and again. This is like 3 in a row, again and again and again. And this was for commission, this was for a commission. This was like a random character, Ozzy again. This one is from Food Fantasy, a game about foods as anime characters. and Hall from Hall's Moving Castle, and this one was Isaac. I think this was a raffle prize. More Hall, yourself, Jin from BTS, Kaito from the Polaroid. Okay, we saw this one. Lisa, Blackpink's Lisa, trying to do an eye. And more stuff. Mitsuri and Mona from Genshin. And Tengu from Omyozi. This is the full version of the 6 fan art from the Rahars. Galileo, Will of the Abyss, you see, for the people who are familiar with this. This was a random one. This was a vocabulary to draw Miku and Rika. And Inosuke. This was a random. This was for Artful when it first launched. Rami-chan, Kihana Rami. I was starting to get into the Hololive designs around here. Poseidon from Senseiya. This was when Suga from BTS released the solo. This was also from Food Fantasy. I worked so hard on the hair. And Sana from Twice, and the Triangle Man, Misumi, from A3. And actually, this speed paint for this character is like one of the most shared ones on my TikTok. Around here, I started having a TikTok. And Shaka from Senseiya. And I redrew Sinjibad. And this one was for a sketch trade. I never got my part of the trade. And I was starting to get into, I was listening to pan flute stuff back then. And this one was during the peak COVID times. Like, I imagined how the city would be like an apocalyptic place. And this one is for Sasutsu. It's a redraw of her character. And Junon again. I drew Zhongli before it was released. And that's it for 2020, 2021, aka this year. So, where do I have them in 2 folders? So we go back to this later. I think these are the newer ones. So there is no specific order, so yeah, I drew this full body, etc. Here, fantasy theme, and that summery vibe. And this one was, I think it's accidentally with this year, these two. And yep, Artoria, I redrew the Sasuke's characters, I drew a background, I drew Kali, I drew Vienna, Cloud9's Vtuber, I drew this for commission. This is Hatsama, or Akai Hato from Hololive. This one is, okay, these do not belong to this year. This one is from this year. This one, these are older into the year. This is a fan art for somebody's characters on Instagram. Kaya, I did like a yokai themed Genshin Impact thing. Kaya, Kutsing. Okay, these are here again. And this is a redraw. Like, that was it. Like, more drawings to come, hopefully. Also, there is this folder from Amino. It doesn't really belong to a year. I didn't like classify them. But there are some stuffs that I haven't seen before. This one on Medibang when I first got my tablet. And like another Itapri drawing, some more random stuff. This was a request. Yep, this was based on a cosplay. Like Naruto, this was one of my first drawings ever. Like more, I've seen Mavis. Yep, this one was also early on. This was a request. Yep, and I don't know how did this work in my head. This was myself and my friend. Actually, we met recently. We haven't talked ever since that drawing. Yep, so more stuff. Some of these are referenced, some are not. So a lot of scribbling, doodling around. This one was okay. Some of these we've seen before, some not. I saved these from my Amino folder. So bottom line is that never give up, you might improve, and even if you don't, just keep enjoying it. Enjoy creating something if you like doing that. And that's the thing that I want to convey through this video, that everyone starts somewhere. And thank you for watching.